It's been forever since I've done a video. I think probably since August of last year. So things have been a little bit crazy. I have a whole update on what's been going on as far as why I kind of took a little break from doing videos and crafting. I did post that, so I'll link that information below, just kind of what was going on. We just had some family things that needed to be dealt with. You know, my father got sick and Scott started a new job and things have just been a little wild. So, but it's all good. It's all good. I do apologize that I had to take that break. I just, you know, I wanted to update you all sooner on what was going on, but, you know, with my dad getting sick and that kind of went over for like a month. Then, you know, just the holidays came along and I mentioned that Scott has a new job. His job now has him working from home. So that meant we needed to make an office space, which meant renovations. Yay for the renovations during the holiday. Woohoo! Never will do that again. It was crazy. The good news, the good part of doing renovations during the holidays is that you do it on a floor that you don't live on. So we renovated our attic because we needed to make a space for Scott. The plan was that this space was going to be Scott's office, and it turned out it wasn't going to be Scott's office because it wasn't working. It became my craft room. So it's a long story. I won't get into all the details, but basically as we started to set this room up for Scott, we discovered that it wasn't going to work for him. So we ended up taking my craft room and making this into my craft loft. Yes, sometimes I call it loft. Sometimes I call it my craft room, sometimes I call it my office, and sometimes I'm going upstairs to put my face on. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But anyway, I'm going to break this video up into 3 videos. The first video, which is this video right here, we're going to do an overview of my craft space. The second video, and I'm going to show you Scott's office so you can see what my old space looks like now that it's made into Scott's office. The second video, I'm going to do a workspace video, which will kind of touch more in depth on my 2 kind of workspace areas. And then my last video, I'm going to do an in-depth tour of all the little cubbies and storage and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you first what my old craft room looks like and what Scott's office now looks like. So you might remember this room. This was my old craft room. It's now Scott's office. Like I said at the beginning of the video, he works from home now. So he has taken over. I shouldn't say take over. He now has he's been reassigned, as he says, to this room. Now this is, some of this stuff is actually leftover stuff from my office when I was in here. Like that's my bestie unit that he uses to keep all his memorabilia. Like he has his nameplate from his desk at work when he, you know, his other job, and some miscellaneous photos and stuff like that that he just, you know, he likes to display. Down below is his CD storage. This is the storage area that the storage unit that I got a long time ago at Hobby Lobby that I was keeping some embellishment things in, but it is absolutely perfect for his CD storage. Yeah. On the top he keeps his home laptop, and then his little docking area for all of his equipment. That's some work stuff in the corner. This unit right here, let's let it get into focus there. This unit right here, you'll remember from my craft room. He uses it to display some of his work stuff. I don't know, is that all okay to show? Yeah. Some of his work stuff that he's working on and miscellaneous kind of memorabilia things. Those units right there used to be my craft desk. He uses those for his office storage for his job, his work printer, his files, and then he uses my old desk for his desk. So he kind of got the hand-me-downs. And then we did give him a new chair because we felt he deserved a new chair. This wicker chair was a chair that I had that actually is from Scott's grandmother. That was a chair she had. We just moved it into here. And then on the wall here, this unit right here is just a shelving unit, like a ladder-style shelving unit that we picked up also at the Christmas tree store, which we thought was going to be used in his office that was going to be upstairs, but turns out it worked better down here. And on here is where he keeps all of his music box sets, his books. He has a, what do you call that thing? That frame's got a digital frame. And then some of his favorite books on display. And he is never left alone because the cats are always in here. And then the last thing, which was probably the biggest reason why he ended up taking this room, is that he took over this closet, which I had for storage in my craft room. As you can see, it's still painted to the color of my old, I think that was probably what, the third color of what color I painted this room. But he uses this for storage of all of his extra books and CD box sets and stuff like that, as well as stuff for his business. And then we also have some of our home files in here as well. So that's Scott's new office. Quick tour. I'm not going to go into detail because it's his space. So, all right. Yeah, so, wow, big change from when it was my craft room, right? Different colors, different furniture. Although everything that's in Scott's office, we repurposed. It was all stuff that we've had around the house. The only thing that we purchased for that room was the one shelving, like a ladder shelf that, I don't know if that's what you want to call it. I think that's what you call it. But anyway, we got that at the Christmas tree store, and it was like under $50, and I actually bought that for my kitchen. I was going to use it to put all of my cookbooks on it, but it ended up not working in there. And then we thought, oh, we just threw away 50 bucks. And then we said, oh, no, we didn't, because we're going to use it in Scott's office. So it's been interesting, you know, trying to figure out what we were doing. I have been in this space since probably about the 2nd or 3rd week of January. I did post, you know, a little photos of this space before it became this space, but here are a couple just in case you guys didn't see that on my blog. So here are a couple photos of what this room looked like before it was renovated. And yeah, so you can see it's all like paneling, and your typical attic is, half of it was unfinished, half of it was the wacky paneling. The whole stairway needed to be, everything needed to be gutted and sheetrocked and put new flooring in and stuff. So I'm going to give you a tour of what my space looks like now that it's done as my craft loft studio makeup place. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get started with the craft room tour. So this is as you walk up the stairs. The stairway is an L-shaped staircase. So you come up and then there's a landing and then there's another set of stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs is where we have a little bookcase. This is like a cheapo bookcase that we've had for a while. And what we did was we put our home printer on there along with some office supply things. And what we do is we share that printer. So if I need to print something, I can send it down to that one because it is wireless. And then if Scott needs to print something that's kind of more home-based, he can use that one. Otherwise, he has a big printer in his office for his work stuff. So the stairs are not finished. Otherwise, I would get a little closer to that. They're kind of, you know, not in the best of shape. They're in great condition, but we need to make a decision on what we're going to do with them, if we're going to paint them or stain them or what. But it's something that we have to decide to do when we're not going to be coming up here for a couple of days, because obviously that all needs to dry and can't walk on it. On the wall as you walk up the stairs, I have my 12 by 12 photos. Those are, or 12 by 12 scrapbook pages. Those are ones, if you've seen my other craft room videos, they are the 12 by 12 scrapbook pages that are some of my favorites, and I had them spread out throughout my room, but they work perfectly as a collage as you're coming up the stairs. And then I have a little chalkboard sign on the wall that has a reminder for me to turn the heat off up here. Well, not off, but down, because it's separate heating from the rest of our house. We have natural gas, but for up here we have an electric baseboard heat. So that's just a reminder. And on there I have a little picture of my great niece, Riley. She's a cutie pie. Then this door right here, that's the door that leads into our storage area that we did not finish. And then right in front of that door, I have my Ravcog cart, or Razcog, I don't know how you say that. It's the cart from IKEA. I keep that there. That's just there for right now because I usually put that in different spots in my room as I'm working. It's just there to get it out of the way while I'm filming. Next to the door is my Expedite, which is not what they call it anymore. I totally forget the name of it. And these units, this particular unit is the one from IKEA, but I have other ones that came from Target recently. A couple months ago, I found that Target was selling cubes that are very similar to the IKEA, and I can't remember the real name of them, the Expedites, but anyway, their system is very much like the IKEA ones and match perfectly, and slowly I was buying those and replacing some of the other storage units I was using in my old craft room. So actually, I had no idea when I was buying those that they would come in handy up in this new room. So the top of that is where I store my Stampin' Up! Inks and my Copic markers. And then I have baskets. Those bins, the two pattern ones and the yellow ones, they came from Target. They fit perfectly. I think they're like 13-inch square cubes. They fit perfectly into the IKEA Expedite, whatever the new name is, storage. And then down below I have two units that are from IKEA that fit into those units. So they make more drawer for that, for those. Now this, in my craft room before, was used as a kind of work surface. Instead of having it standing up tall, I had it laying down flat, where then I can put, you know, things on top of it like my Big Shy and my die cutters and stuff like that. So that's my Expedite. Next to my Expedite is my work area. So this is, I'll go over in detail what is on my desk in my next video, but this is my printer, computer area, and then underneath that I have actually these units underneath are the actual Target units that you can get that are just like the Expedites, and they come in different sizes. They have the one that's similar to the 8 cube, this one's a 4 cube, and then I have try that again. I have 2 of the 4 cube and 2 of the 2 cube units that we use in my room. So I took one of the 4 cubes and then one of the 2 cubes, and then I have another 2 cube on the very end, and made those my legs to my desk. And then I also bought from Target the legs that actually work with the system, so you could drill them into the bottom and raise it up probably about 2 inches. So it made it nice and high, and then I can also have taller chairs at this work area. So this is actually my work area on the top, and then on the bottom is storage for craft stuff, which I'll get into in another video. The very end of my desk area, my workspace, is my vanity area, and I will go, again, I'll include all of the in-depth information in my workplace area, but right here is where I set up a little vanity. This is where I put my makeup on in the morning, as I tell my husband I'm going to put my face on, and I have all of that set up here, and I absolutely love it. I never had a place before to put my makeup on. I always just did it in the bathroom. That's my makeup area. On the wall, I have some of the Ribba shelvings. That is from IKEA, and on there is where I keep more makeup. That's where I keep all my palettes and my nail polish and stuff like that. And then the bottom 2 units, that's the 2 single units, and I'm sorry there's a chair in your way there, but those are 2 of the 2 cube units that you can get from Target. As you can see, that one right there is actually a 2 cube unit, but what's great about the Target ones is that you can actually buy the shelves and make that 1 cube into 2 cubes. So you can actually hold 4 bins in these depending on how you do it. So this one I have 3 bins. I have 1 13-inch and then 2 of the 6-inch baskets or bins, whatever you want to call them. So that's my little makeup area. So let me just give you a quick pan of that area. So that's my door over there. I'll talk about this area right here. That's my desk. I'll talk about that later. That's the Expedite, and then that whole wall is my work area. Pan from my kind of vanity area over. This is the 2 windows that overlook. We're on a mountain, so I have a beautiful view straight across our valley here. And then on this wall, as soon as it focuses and adjusts from the lighting outside, is another whole section that I'm gonna kind of move the camera and get a better angle from, because my actual crafting desk is in the way here. But this is the last wall in my room, and as you can see, I have a little bookcase and some more of those units over there. So let me just go ahead and reset up the camera here so I could show you what's over in that section. Okay, so in this area right here is where I have another one of those units. This unit right there is actually a 4 cube unit that I changed into 8 by adding 4 of the shelf inserts and then 8 of the 6-inch bins from Target. And on the top is where I have my lamp and just some photos and a little bin that I carry over to my desk. And then on the wall over here, this right here, that is an actual bookcase that my brother built in when he was doing the room for us. So it's a 3-shelf bookcase, and originally the plan was that top section was going to be where Scott would have his CDs and there would be books underneath, but obviously that didn't work out. So I keep just some supplies there. I have the top shelf has got my Mink and my Project Life. Second shelf is all about die cutting, and the bottom shelf is my sewing machine and Silhouette. So like I said, we'll go into all the details when we get into that video. Next to my shelving is another one of those units. I've been getting really good use out of these, and if you want to get them, watch for sales because they go on sale at Target. So this is a 2 cube that I made into a 4 shelf unit, and on here I store some crafting paper, and then I have boxes on the bottom that have some other supplies in it for coloring. On the top is where I keep my Vagabond and my little Create a Sticker by Xyron. And then next to that is my Alex drawer unit, which you guys will remember from previous videos. That is here. Not much has really changed with that, so it's just really embellishment storage. And on the top I have some storage there. Then the last area I want to share with you in my room is my actual crafting table. This is a fairly new unit that I recently picked up, probably it was a couple months ago, probably October, November, somewhere right around there. It is actually a kitchen table that I got from, I think it was the Christmas tree store, that our local Christmas tree store. Came with 4 chairs, and it's a countertop height, so it's perfect that I can either stand and craft or sit and craft. And then what I did was I took the chairs, I only keep 1 chair at the desk, and then I took 2 of the other chairs and put them at my desk area along the wall, and the other one actually is being used in our kitchen. So, but like I said, I'll go into all the details about my crafting table and desk when I do an overview of my workspace. All right, so that's the overall tour of my craft room. All right, everybody, so that was the kind of introduction overview of my craft room. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel, and if you liked today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. So that's a like on YouTube here. So I'll put a link to all of my other past craft room tours that I've done. This should be the last one because I am never, ever doing another renovation in a craft room. Not after this whole thing. So, but anyway, don't forget to give today's video a thumbs up. That's how I know you like my videos. And stay tuned because I will be posting more videos. I just gonna do the next couple of videos as my craft room. I have some planner videos that I want to do, and then after that we're gonna see where it goes. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye.